Greetings to everyone, especially to our instructor in art appreciation, Sir Andre Garcia. Today, we will discuss 10 different artworks by the different artists in the world. But first, let me introduce myself to you. My name is James Anthony L. Azucena. So, next slide. Thank you. The first artwork, which is from Pablo Picasso. Next slide po. Pablo Picasso was born on October 25, 1881 in Malaga, Spain. So, namatay din si Maliaga at age of 91 years old noong April 8, 1973 in Mougins, France. So, si Pablo Picasso, meron din siyang apat na anak which is si Paloma Picasso, Paolo Picasso, Claude Pierre Pablo Picasso, Maya Widmer Picasso. So, ang sabi dyan, Picasso's painting is based on the events of April 27, 1937. So, ano nga ba yung nangyari noong 1937? So, ang sabi dito, he was commissioned by the Spanish Republican government to create a large mural for the Spanish pavilion at the 1937 Paris World's Fair. So, si Pablo Picasso is naimbitahan siya ng Spanish government upang gumawa ng malakihang mural painting no para sa Spanish pavilion na yun nga ginanap noong 1937 sa Paris World's Fair. So when Hitler's powerful German Air Force acting in support of Franco bombed the village of Guernica in northern Spain, a city of no strategic military value, it was history's first aerial saturation bombing of civilization population. So ayun, si Hitler at ang kanyang German Air Force and sa suporta na rin ng Franco which is ang dictator ng Spain, no? Nag-attempt sila na girahin or bombahin nga yung lugar ng Guernica sa northern Spain na kung saan doon natin makikita si Pablo Picasso. So, ang city na rin ng northern Spain is no strategic military value. Kumbaga parang walang training, walang proper training yung mga sundalo nila doon, kaya hindi sila nakapaghanda the time na inatake sila ng German Air Force. So, ang sabi din dyan, it was the history first aerial saturation bombing of the civilization population. Dahil nga, nag-act ang dictator ng Spain dahil nga sa mabilisang pagdami or mabilisang paglago ng population doon sa northern Spain. Kaya nagsanib-pwersa ang si Hitler at ang Franco upang bawasan ng population. Kumbaga para kasing nagiging pabigat yung iba no doon sa government na meron doon sa Spain. Kaya nag-declare na rin sila na bawasan ang mga tao doon sa community nila. So next slide please. Yeah. Guernica, 1937. Nightmarish figures and dismembered bodies fill the painting. Guernica combines cubist structures with a monochrome palette which renders the painting more realistic. So ano nga ba ang monochrome palette? So ang monochrome palette is a color scheme based on the only one single color tint. So as we can see naman sa painting ni Pablo Picasso, yung background niya is ang color black lang dahil ang mas gusto ni Pablo Picasso is ma-emphasize yung subject na nakapaloob dun sa mismong painting. So, ang sabi din niya dito, renders the painting more realistic. So, parang mas nakafocus siya doon sa mismong subject niya na Guernica painting. So, let's proceed sa symbolism. Ang sabi dito sa symbolism, the horror and chaos of war. So, ayun nga, anong naganap noong 1937 na ginera ng German Air Force and ang Franco ang lugar ni Pablo Picasso no noong sa Spain, sa northern Spain. So kaya naisipan ni Pablo Picasso na gumawa or lumikha agad ng isang masterpiece dahil nga doon hango sa kanyang na-experience noong panahon. So color, gumamit si Pablo Picasso ng monochromatic palette of gray, black, and white. So as I said a while ago, ang monochromatic is color scheme based on one single color tint. And additional lang, yung adding two colors to make other colors such as adding white and red to make pink. to make color pink. So, ayun, mas napag-isipan ni Pablo Picasso na isang color scheme lang ang gamitin nga dahil para mas nakafocus siya dun sa subject, mas maging realistic yung painting niya, at the same time is magkaroon ng emphasize yung painting niya sa mga taong makakakita nito. So, ang interpretation, the bull in Guernica was interpreted alternately as the British faces state and the Spanish people. So nakikita naman natin sa painting yung bull doon sa upper left ng painting ni Pablo Picasso is nagre-represent siya doon, kumbaga parang sa German Air Force yung bull. Nagre-represent siya dahil sobrang aggressive towards sa tao. Diba? Kung nakikita natin sa mga social media platforms, nakikita natin yung mga bull every time na may piyesta sila. So parang sobrang aggressive sila. So doon, inahalin tulad ni Pablo Picasso yung government. Nakapaloob doon yung German Air Force, si Hitler, ganun na rin yung dictator ng Spain. Kaya bull ang ginawa niyang representative. So the last one is conclusion. The Guernica painting is about the anti-war to stop the violence all over the world. Picasso's Guernica painting shows that even if we are a politic, everyone has duty to protest against the violence. So sabi dyan, kahit anong estado natin sa buhay, even mayaman, may kaya, or medyo mahirap, no? Na hindi ito hadlang upang mag-lead sa community para sa ikapapayapa ng bayan, or what we call the anti-war. So ginawa rin ito ni Pablo Picasso para na rin maging aware ang mga tao na hindi lahat ng bagay is nalulutas sa gera, or hindi lahat ng bagay nadadaan sa pagiging violent. So that's the part of my report. So that's the report about Pablo Picasso's Guernica painting. So may I call on Ralph Christian Pitong to continue the reporting about the painting Christina's World. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Azucena. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ralph Christian Pitong and I'm the second reporter in our group. So, ang napili kong artwork is Christina's World by Andrew Wyeth. So, before we proceed, let me share some short information about Andrew Wyeth. Andrew Wyeth is a famous artist in America, known for his detailed and realistic artwork. He was born on July 12, 1917 in Chadsford, Pennsylvania, at namatay naman siya noong January 16, 2009. But before he passed away, he painted his last painting, which is yung painting na Goodbye noong 2008. So yung painting na Goodbye and Christina's World ay parehas lang ng background or landscape, which is sa main. So additional information lang, kung mag-search kayo, some of Andrew's paintings, it included the landscape in Maine. Kasi nire-represent niya dito yung rural way of life doon. Also, Andrew Wyeth is galing sa pamilya ng mga artist. His father, Newell Converse Wyeth, or mas kilala bilang NC Wyeth. And his son na si Jamie Wyeth, na kilala ring mga artist sa Amerika. So, next slide. So, this is the artwork. Christina's World, 1948. The painting showed Christina Olson. So si Christina Olson ay totoong tao, yung nakikita nyo sa painting. Kapitbahay siya nila Andrew Wyeth sa bahay nila sa Cushing, Maine. And si Christina Olson ay may muscular disorder kaya hindi siya nakakalakad katulad ng ibang tao. So it symbolizes people's determination in life. Kasi kung mapapansin nyo sa painting, si Christina Olson is headed towards the distant house despite her disability. So as you can see in the painting, Andrew Wyeth used different shades. Shades of gray, blue, and green. So yung shade dyan na gray is nagre-represent ng history and sense of age. While the green naman is nagre-represent ng growth in life. And lastly, the blue sky represents hope o pag-asa. So, ito yung pagkaka-interpret ko dito sa painting, no? Sabi nga dito, the house represents the dream or goal. So, itong bahay na nasa painting, ito yung dream or goal ng bawat isa sa atin. Ito yung mga pangarap natin sa buhay na gusto nating ma-achieve in the future. And Christina Olson represents each of us. Nire-represent niya tayo, bawat isa sa atin. Christina's disability represent our different battles and challenges na, na kinakaharap ng bawat isa sa atin. Kung mapapansin nyo, si Christina Olson sa painting, nakatingin siya doon sa bahay and doon siya papunta kahit na malayo ito. Kahit na gumagapang lang siya at hindi nakakapaglakad. Like us, we keep on moving to our paths kahit na may pinagdadaanan ng bawat isa sa atin or may mga challenges na kinakaharap sa buhay. Hindi tayo huminto na makamit lahat ng pangarap natin sa buhay. Kahit paunti-unti, ang mahalaga nakakausad tayo. Like Christina Olson, kahit na minsan mukhang imposible. Example ko dito, yun sa course natin, na more on luto and gastos. Tapos nag-increase pa lahat ng bilihin. So minsan napapaisip tayo na baka hindi natin matapos itong tinitake natin na course dahil nga sa sobrang gastos. Pero kahit ganoon, nakakagawa pa rin tayo ng paraan. Like the blue sky in the painting that represents hope. May pag-asa na nakapaligid sa atin para lang maabot natin yung mga pangarap na gusto natin matupad. So additional information lang, yung nakikita ninyong land and house dyan is pagmamayari yan ng pamilyang Olson. And yung Wyeth family tsaka yung Olson family ay may deep connection. Kaya some of the paintings of Andrew Wyeth ay same ng setting, which is kita yung lupa ng Olson family. Kasi parang gusto ipakita ni Andrew Wyeth ang beauty ng rural life nila sa Maine. So kung gusto nyo makita yung actual painting na ito, it is held by the MoMA or Museum of Modern Art in New York. So that's my part. Thank you for listening, everyone. Ms. Harlego will continue the reporting.
Ayun, thank you, Ralph. So again, good afternoon, everyone. I am Princess Harlego, and I will be the next presenter. And the artwork that I chose is entitled The Birth of Venus. So next slide. So before I discuss to you what that artwork is, let me introduce to you first the artist who created that beautiful piece. So as you can see, he is Alessandro Di Mariano de Vanni Felipe, better known as Sandro Botticelli or simply Botticelli. He was an Italian artist of the early Renaissance, and he was born on Florence, Italy, in the year of 1445. So he was the painter of the artwork The Birth of Venus. And in the mid of 1480s, specifically 1484 to 1486, ito na yung time kung saan pinaint na ni Botticelli yung artwork na The Birth of Venus. And ang dahilan nga kung bakit niya ito na-paint is because he was commissioned to do it. It is by the Medici family, and he painted it to flatter the head of Medici family, which is si Lorenzo de Medici. Because based nga dun sa research na ginawa ko, this family was a major patron of Botticelli. So, next slide po. Thank you. So, this artwork is The Birth of Venus. It depicts the goddess Venus arriving at the shore after her birth when she had emerged from the sea fully grown. And if one of you wants to see it personally, makikita nyo to in the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, Italy, which is in Botticelli's hometown. And as for the visual analysis of this painting, it depicts the world of imagination rather than being very concerned with realistic depiction. So in this artwork, makikita nyo, there are 4 characters. The first one is Venus, the goddess of beauty and love, and she is the central figure of this masterpiece. Kumbaga, siya yung pinakabida sa artwork na to. And also, there is Flora on the right side of Venus, yung may hawak ng tela. She is the goddess of spring. While on the left side naman, there's Zephyr and Zephyr's counterpart, yung magka-entwined na human figure. And Zephyr is also known as March Wind, kaya in this artwork, he represented the wind. And facts lang about Botticelli's art, that he was never fully committed to naturalism, and also he never painted landscape backgrounds with great detail before, kagaya ng ganitong artwork. Kaya this piece of artwork is special compared to his other artworks. Kasi nga, kung mapapansin nyo, he painted the birth of Venus into a landscape form, which is hindi talaga ganito yung style of artwork yung nakasanayan niyang gawin. And also, kung mapapansin nyo rin, pinagtuunan niya talaga ng pansin every detail sa artwork na to. And as for the composition, the central figure of a nude and statuesque Venus rising out of a calm turquoise sea, her auburn hair twirling around her body to cover her private part, and the giant seashell in which she stands is propelled by the wind, represented by the two entwined human figure, which is La Zephyr nga and Zephyr's counterpart. And this artwork symbolizes baptism and a new hope. Then, the genre of this piece is mythological painting dahil nga dun sa mga character na nabanggit ko kanina. And also, hindi lang siya mythological painting, it is also historical painting. And the materials used in this painting are tempera. Tempera po is a kind of painting that is fast drying because of its water-soluble binder na egg yolk. And aside from tempera, there are also alabaster powders and a gold leaf. And in conclusion to this impressive mythological composition, it is centered on the introduction of the figure of the bare naked goddess Venus, emerging from the shell, drifting to Cyprus shore. And it practically embodies the rebirth of civilization, a new hope, gaya ng sabi ko kanina, and geopolitical, social, and cultural shift which occurred after the Middle Age turmoil. So, that's all about the birth of Venus. And the next artwork is entitled The Creation of Adam, which will be presented by Joey Palacio. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joey Andre E. Palacio at ito po yung napili kong art, ang The Creation of Adam by Michelangelo. Michelangelo was born on March 6, 1475, Caprice, Michelangelo, Italy. The Creation of Adam is a fresco paint by Michelangelo between 1508 and 1512 on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican City in the passage from the book of Genesis which describe God creating Adam of giving life of the first man. Si Michelangelo daw po ay pinanganak noong Marso 6, 1475 sa Caprice, Italy, tas lumaki siya sa Florence. Dito daw nilikha niya ang The Creation of Adam pagitan ng 1508 at 1512 sa kisame ng Sistine Chapel sa Vatican City. Naglalarawan dito ang paglikha ng Diyos kay Adan at pagbibigay buhay ng tao. Next. The background of figure in shapes portrait behind the figure of God appeared to be an automatically accurate picture of the human brain. Dito naman, kung napapansin nyo yung picture, yung hugis na inilalarawan sa likod ng figure ay isang accurate na utak ng tao. Symbolism. The moment in which humanity was created through the hand of God. Sa symbolism naman, ipinapakita sa larawan na ang Diyos ay umaagos at napapaligiran ng mga anghel. Sa kabilang banda naman ay pinakita ni Adan na mahina at tao na nagbibigay diin sa kanyang pagkatao. Tinatampok dito ang kinabahan ng banal at moral. Yung colors. This painting consists of warm and cold colors. Ang warm na kulay ay ang red, brown, at yellow na makikita sa background ng Diyos at kulay ng balat ni Adan. At ang mga cold color naman ay berde at asul na makikita sa lupa at sa bundok at sa isang banda na mula sa isang anghel. Interpretation. The creation of the first man with the creation index finger ready to strike a spark upon contact with Adan hand. Conclusion. God is stepping, breathing life into Adam while Adam in a reclining position from a heel to stop stretching the left hand passively toward his creator. Inilalarawan dito sa The Creation of Adam na ang biblical na kwento ng pagbibigay buhay ng Diyos kay Adan Ang unang tao na pangunahing elemento ng likha, sining at ang pagkonekta ng dalawang daliri sa pagitan ng Diyos at Adan na sumisimbolo sa sandali na nagpalikha ng sangkatauhan. Nagbibigay larawan din ito sa ideya ng ang buhay ng tao ay isang banal na kaloob na nakapaloob dito ang ugnayan ng pagitan ng banal na tao. Yun lang po, next reporter.
Good afternoon po. My name is John Calvi Montesa. Napili ko po is Juan Luna. The Spolarium is painting by Filipino painter Juan Luna. Luna working canvas, bench in months completing the painting which depict dying gladiators. The painting was submitted by Luna to Expression National de Balas artist in 1884 in Madrid where it garnered the first gold medal. So dito po, yung Spolarium daw po is pininta ni Juan Luna which is one of Filipino heroes noong 1884. Ginawa niya artwork na ito sa loob lang daw po ng 8 buwan. Next po. Spolarium 1884 reveals how people were deprived of their freedom and rights. So yung pinapakita po dito is paano inilapusta yung mga Pilipino noong Spanish colonial period. Yung symbolism daw po. The Filipino people ignorance, blindness, mental darkness, and operation. Yung symbolism, yung sinisimbolo daw po ng artwork ni Juan Luna, which is yung Spolarium, is nagpapakita ng kung paano inilapusta ang mga Pilipino noong Spanish colonial period. Interpretation, a visual representation of the suffering experienced by Filipino people during the Spanish colonial period. So tulad po yung sinabi ko kanina, which is ang gawa ni Juan Luna is nagpapakita daw po ng karanasan ng mga Pilipino noong Spanish colonial period. Conclusion, the painting revives how people were deprived to their freedom and rights. It's portray in inner political and social cultural viewpoints as well as emotion of Filipino master painter like Juan Luna. Hence, this had well integrate the nature of the political, moral, and social life of the Filipino. Next reporting po is
So, good afternoon everyone. Today I will discuss about the painting, The Scream by Edvard Munch. So, itong painting na napili ko, hindi siya ganun kaganda. This mystery painting scary at minsan hindi ganun ka-attractive sa mga taong makakakita. Pero sabi nga nila, it takes times and commitment para maintindihan mo ang meaning ng isang bagay. So, nagtataka ba kayo bakit imbis na kulay blue ang langit ay kulay orange ito? At bakit nakakatakot ang taong nasa larawan? So, mamaya tatalakayin natin yan. Pero bago yan, kilalanin muna natin ang pintor na si Edvard Munch o ang gumawa at nagpinta ng larawang ito. So, the painting title is The Scream by Edvard Munch. So, a little bit more about the artist. The artist of this painting is Edvard Munch. Siya yung gumawa o nag-paint na kung tawagin ay The Scream noong 1893 na makikita sa museum ng Oslo, Norway. So, saan nga ba galing si Edvard Munch? Si Edvard Munch ay pinanganak noong December 12, 1863 at namatay noong January 23, 1944 dahil sa sakit na pneumonia. And namatay siyang walang asawa at anak. Isa sa kanyang pinakakilalang gawa ay ang The Scream noong 1893. And then noong 1879 naman, nag-enroll siya sa isang technical college para mag-aral ng engineering kung saan mahusay siya sa subject na physics, chemistry at math. And then Doon niya na rin natutunan ang pagguhit, pero huminto siya sa kanyang pag-aaral dahil sa sakit. Followed for several years, umalis siya sa pag-aaral ng college which is pinagpatuloy niya na maging isang determinadong pintor determinadong pintor na lang. And di naman siya nagkamali ng desisyon dahil isa rin siya sa pinakakilalang magaling na pintor. Makikita nyo dyan sa note niya, in a note in his diary, Munch described his inspiration for the image. So, sino yung pwedeng magbasa sa inyo? Sige, ikaw
Babasahin
na lang,
ko.
Pitong.
Edvard Munch was born in Lotten, Norway. I was walking along a path with two friends. The sun was settling. Suddenly, the sky turned blood red. I paused, feeling exhausted, and leaned on the fence. There was blood and longness of fire above the blue-black ford and the city. My friends walked on, and I stood there, trembling with anxiety, and I sensed an infinite scream passing through nature.
So, yan. Thank you, Christian Ralph. And, so, sa madaling sabi, ang meaning ng note sa diary ni Munch ay, for as long as I can remember, I have suffered from a deep feeling of anxiety which I have tried to express in my art. Kasi siya ay humantong sa isang malupit na buhay at nawala ang halos lahat ng kanyang pamilya. So, bakit nga ba siya sa humantong na malupit na buhay? In this part, ikukwento ko sa inyo kung anong nangyari sa pamilya nila. Namatay yung nanay ni Edvard Munch, which is si Laura Catherine, at the age of 20 years old dahil sa sakit na tuberculosis, while si Edvard Munch naman ay 5 years old. So imagine, sobrang aga niya nawala ng nanay. Si Sophie naman, siya yung nakakatandang kapatid na babae ni Edvard. Namatay naman siya sa edad na 15 years old dahil sa sakit sa pag-iisip. Si Andreas naman, siya yung isa pang kapatid ni Edvard. Siya lang yung bukod tanging kinasal sa kanilang lahat. Pero ilang buwan lang pagkatapos ng kasal, binawian rin siya ng buhay. So imagine kung gaano kahirap para sa side ni Edvard Munch na isa-isang namamatay yung kanyang pamilya at the young age, at also sinasaktan o pinagmamalupitan din si Edvard Munch ng kanyang tatay na si Christian Munch. So next po. So sa visual analysis, the median Edvard Munch used was oil paint on canvas, also wood CAD. Sa composition naman, it consists of three main areas: the bridge, which extends at a step angle from the middle distance at the left to fill the foreground, a landscape of shoreline, lake or FJ Ford and hills, and the sky, which is activated with curving lines in tones of orange, yellow, red, blue, and green. So the scream represents anxiety, so it means kaya ang symbolism ng kanyang painting dahil sa kanyang personal experiences of anxiety at kalunos-lunos na nangyari sa kanya noong bata pa siya, and his own emotional struggles became a central theme in his painting. Sa colors naman, the colors Munch used for the painting were warm colors and cold colors. The use of dark color shades such as the red and orange colors of the skies symbolize feelings of anxiety, fear, and sadness, while yung yellow and green on the face of the central figure identify these feelings, reflecting experience of deep anxiety. And then the choice of colors in the screen not only enhances the visual impact of the painting but also evokes a deep emotional response from the viewer. Doon naman sa interpretation, some feeling that could be conveyed in the paintings, maybe sorrow, panic, fear, sadness, distress, and other negative feelings. So, halo-halo yung mararamdaman mo sa painting na ito, pero ang naramdaman ko habang binabasa at inaaral ko yung behind this art dahil sa mga naging experience niya, nalungkot ako dahil at the young age, grabe yung nangyari sa buhay niya at ang aga niyang naulila sa magulang niya. Tapos isa-isa pang kinuha yung mga kapatid niya. So imagine kung gaano kahirap mawala ng pamilya. Tapos di pa siya nakapagpatuloy sa pag-aaral sa college dahil nga dun sa nagkaroon siya ng sakit which is yung pneumonia. And for those people or to my co-students who experience anxiety, tandaan mo that you are not alone. Sometimes you need a moment to breathe and remind yourself that you are strong and capable of overcoming those challenges na na-experience mo ngayon, and identify mo kung saan at anong bagay ka natitrigger, and find things kung saan ka malilibing that work for you. Whether it's talking to a loved ones or friends, family, kumain ka ng comfort food mo, or doing physical experience, or kagaya niya ng ginawa ni Edvard, which is yung pagpipaint. And remember na i-prioritize mo rin yung sarili mo and give yourself permission to rest when needed. And kung hindi na talaga kaya, seek professional help if needed. And last, remember na anxiety doesn't define you. It's just part of who you are. So, sa pinaka-conclusion ng topic na to, we must say that this painting is still popular and importante na sana hindi siya kumupas even after all these years, and sana mas marami pa ang makaintindi o makabasa about sa painting na to, because sa painting na ito lahat tayo nakaka-relate. The Scream is isa sa pinaka-unique na painting that you cannot simply admire it. So pagtapos mong malaman kung anong kwento sa likod nito, mas ma-appreciate mo yung larawan. It is suddenly not scary anymore. It is a part of every human being. It reflects all the time na nakakaranas tayo ng lungkot, feels lost, stress, and yung minsan pagtatangka ng sariling buhay. Pero sabi nga nila, ang tunay na matapang ay yung umiiyak at tumaharap sa problema ng buhay. Yun lang po at maraming salamat. So, next reporter please.
So, I am Joanna May Manggao, and ang napili ko artwork is Mother and Child ni Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso was born on October 25, 1881 in Mahalia, Spain. The image is modeled after a woman Picasso encountered in 1901 at the prison of Saint-Lazare in Paris, wherein women would be incarcerated with their infants. Picasso continued painting on the Saint-Lazare prison, Mother and Child, them even after moving from Paris to Barcelona in January 1902. So dito, yung yung babae sa painting ni Picasso ay nakilala niya noong 1901 sa prison of Saint-Lazare sa Paris, na kung saan ang mga kababaihan ay nakakulong kasama ang kanilang mga sanggol. Mother and Child, 1921, depicts on aspect as such incarceration that particularly disturbed the artist of the presence of the children in the prison. So yung painting na ito, pininta ni Picasso ng Mother in Child noong 1921 na naglalarawan na nakakulong sa prison. Next is symbolism. The mother of children, relationship between several themes about fertility, humanity, and redemption, love and nurture, and duty. So sa symbolism, dito naman nagsisilbing sumisimbolo sa mag-ina na nagpapakita ng fertility, humanity, love at iba pa na mahalaga sa atin. Yung color naman is pale blues and white. So dito na nakikita nating color sa painting is nagsisimbolo ng sadness. And next is interpretation. After researching the time in which the painting was created and and the events that were taking place in Picasso's life, I discovered that the painting represents Picasso's wife, Olga, and the son, Paulo. The painting coincides with the birth of his son and is meant to portray the maternal bond. So dito sa interpretation, ipininta ni Picasso ang artwork na nagre-represent ng kanyang asawa at anak na ipininta niya ito noong kapanangakan ng kanyang anak upang ilarawan ang relasyon between a mother and child. Next is conclusion. Conclusion show that timidness a new mother and can feel when taking care of her newborn son. Having a child for a first time can be an emotional stressful time, and Picasso's painting showed that though the combination for her loving expression and nervous body language. So dito sa conclusion, itong artwork ni Picasso ay nagpapakita ng nararamdaman ng isang bagong ina na nag-aalaga sa bagong silang ng anak, at ang artwork na ito ay nagpapakita ng pagmamahal sa isang anak. That's all. Thank you.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dave Pixon and I'm the next reporter for this group. And I will present to you the Leonardo da Vinci artwork. Leonardo da Vinci was a renowned Italian polymath who lived during Renaissance period. He was born on April 15, 1452 in Vinci, Italy, and died on May 2, 1519. In Amboise, France, Da Vinci is widely considered the one of the greatest artists, scientists, and thinkers of all time. He is famous for works such as the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, but he also significant contribution to fields like anatomy, engineering, and mathematics. His diverse talent and invention have left a lasting legacy in various disciples. Kilala naman po natin siguro si Leonardo da Vinci. Siya po ay sikat na pintor na gumawa ng mga artwork na Mona Lisa at The Last Supper. Next slide, please. Mona Lisa feature a pyramid composition, a design Leonardo uses to capture the essence of different focal points, beginning at the top of the triangle that flows into detail as it widens at the base. Ito ay nagbibigay daan sa pagtingin ng manonood na dumadaloy mula sa gitna punto patungo sa mas pinong mga detalye. At ang pamamaraan na ito ay nakakatulong sa lumikha ng isang pakiramdam ng pagkakaisa at balanse sa artwork na ito. Symbolism, the ideal woman. Ang simbolo ng artwork na ito ay isang babaeng pinapangarap natin. At ang mga kulay na ginamit dito ay full reds, blue, yellow, and bright flesh colors. At karagdagan ko lang po na detalye dito, ang Mona Lisa painting ay gawa sa painting on poplar wood panel. Interpretation, it is a visual representation of the idea of happiness. Ang interpretasyon ng masterpiece na ito ay isang masayang ideya na nagpepresenta ng isang kaligayahan para sa atin. In conclusion, Mona Lisa remains as iconic work of art symbolizing the genius of Leonardo da Vinci and serving as a timeless masterpiece in the world of art and culture. Yun lang po. Next reporter, please.
Good afternoon, everybody, especially the instructor, Sir Andre Garcia. My name is Angeline Andimpaso, and I am the last reporter of this group. So, the last artist we're going to tackle was a 20th century French painter who invented Cubism with Pablo Picasso. So, when we say Cubism, it is an artistic movement created by Pablo Picasso and George Braque, which employs geometric shape in depiction of humans and other forms. Along with Cubism, he used the styles of Impressionism, Fauvism, and collage and even stage design for the ballet Rassos. And he is George Brock. Next slide, please. So, George Brock was born on May 13, 1882 in Argenchoul-sur-Seine, France. He grew up in Le Havre and studied at evening at the École des Beaux-Arts there from about 1897 to 1899. So George Brock's 1912 painting, The Fruit Dish and Glass, represent a significant example of his synthetic cubist style. The artwork combines familiar object with symbolic shape to create a composition that is both recognizable and abstract. So Brock was inspired to create this piece after visiting an Abingdon shop where he purchased a roll of Foxboy paper. George Brock and Pablo Picasso was a very close friend. So Brock said that he eyed the paper but waited to act on his ideas until Picasso went to Paris. So after Picasso had left, Brock bought the paper and made several works starting with Fruit Dish and Glass. So when Picasso returned from Paris, Brock showed him his work and thus later Picasso copied the technique. So, as I can say earlier, George and Pablo was a very close friend. Kagaya lang natin, di ba? We have a different circle of friends. So, may mga time na nahihirapan tayo and nagtatanong tayo sa kanila kung sa activity or other schoolworks tayo. Di ba? Minsan humingi tayo ng idea and kadalasan nakakopya na natin. Aminin natin yan. But in George and Pablo case, yung technique yung kinapi ni Pablo Picasso. And ginawa ito ni George Brock dahil na rin sa inspired niya sa isang piece na nakita niya sa Abingdon shop. So, tayo, di ba, ang mga artists and artwork na ginagawa nila is based on their experience and inspiration. Kay George Brock po is parehas. Inspiration and experience. So, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, can you read, Miss Mangal, and the first bullet?
George Brock used a charcoal cut and pasted printable paper with gouache on white tape paper, subsequently mounted on paperboard.
So, Brock used texture, shape, and composition to construct a painting that is half recognizable and half symbolic. So, these textures bring the background forward, making it more difficult to interpret the perspective. So, Brock's process was deliberately mystifying. So, this technique is full of subtleties that one doesn't notice at first. So, kung titignan natin maigi yung artwork based on the picture below, malalaman nyo lang siya, yung pinaka-meaning niya, unless basahin natin yung ano ba ang pinaka-idea ng paggawa ni George Brock dyan. So, Fruit Dish and Glass is the physical and logical relationship of the object are often difficult to construct. So, this painting is a visual puzzle which challenges us to understand what is shown from clues and fragments. So, symbolism. Can you read, Ms. Harliego?
Symbolism. The painting was created to commemorate a banquet held in Brock's honor after returning from war.
So, Brock served in the French army during World War I and was wounded. So, George Brock was blessed, di ba? Because after World War I, buhay pa rin siya. So, parang second chance ng buhay niya. So, we know naman kapag naririnig natin yung word na war, laging pumapasok sa isip natin yung kamatayan, pagdurusa, at pakikipaglaban. So, this painting was held before him as a celebration ng muli niyang pagbabalik. Because not everyone ay pinapalad na mabuhay pa. Not everyone ay binibigyan pa ng chance ng Lord na mabuhay pa. So, blessed si George Brock. So, the colors. The piece is known for the variety of colors used from dark brown and black to light blue and yellow. So, the piece is based on the interaction of wallpaper glued to the support and charcoal light. So, which evoke both object and words. The subject matter is a glass bowl. So, tingnan po natin dyan, glass bowl, years and grapes. So, between, so what looks like a dish and a wine glass, or perhaps a candlestick. So, Brock probably began the work by cutting out pieces of wallpaper and moving them around the flat surface to imagine his composition. So, he might have positioned two strips of the wood grain. So, as you can see on the picture, meron po dyan color brown, which is the wood grain wallpaper. So, vertically on a large sheet of white paper to signify the walls of a cafe or bar. So, he also put a small horizontal piece of wallpaper at the bottom of the paper to represent a tabletop. Then he drew the glass tears and grapes and the word ale and bar. So, the word of ale ay nasa baba, nasa part siya ng baba. And yung word ng bar ay nasa taas. So the meaning of ale are alcoholic content or beer, and the bar was a country across which alcoholic drinks are served. And also, he added a circular knob to the horizon piece of wallpaper at the bottom to make it look like the drawer of a table. So this artwork has a variety of textures that add confusion to special relation of the object in the composition. So kapag ka galing ka sa war, need mo ng refreshing, ma-refresh ng utak mo dahil may nakilala ako is na war shock siya. So, after ng war, si Picasso is nag-unwind. So, di ba tayo, kailangan natin yan, mag-unwind kapag na-stress na tayo sa schoolworks. So, ayun na, yung glass, wine, and bar ay para nagsisimbolize ng mga, yun, ng pag-unwind natin, pagpapahinga, kumbaga. So, the interpretation, in its abstract, we have seen how the fruit, dish, and glass connect with each other. So the fruit is like human life and intended to portray the transient nature related to our existence. And it also represents fertility, vitality, youth, and abundance. So when the fruit is in a state of decay, however, it characterizes the inevitable and undeniable of our presence in the world. And the status, power, and wealth of individual is like a dish that we share with others. Moreover, humans often symbolically interact when eating and drinking. Ganyan yung nangyayari sa atin, sa pamilya natin, sa sobrang busy natin. So, nagkakausap-usap na lang tayo kapag kumakain and umiinom. So, glass represents the refract light and conveys both strength and fragility. So, light represents luck, fortune, transparency, integrity, and the cycle of life. Like George Brock, di ba? Lucky siya. Lucky siya dahil nabuhay pa siya. Lucky siya dahil nakabalik siya after World War I. It is a fragile nature and ability to reshape offers powerful insight into the human experience and our connection with others. So, the conclusion. Therefore, I conclude George Brock painting, Fruit Dish and Glass represent a significant example of a synthetic cubist style. So, every time we see his creative artwork through the use of shape, textures, and composition, it reminds us that the celebration was held before him. So, kung makapunta man tayo in artwork gallery, or kung saan mang may mga artwork, nakasama yung artwork ni George Brock, maaalala natin, magugunita natin, itong painting na to, para doon sa celebration niya, sa pagbabalik niya sa war. It is remind us that the celebration was held before him and it gives honor to him after returning from war. The artwork combines familiar objects with symbolic shape to create a composition that is both recognizable and abstract. This innovative masterpiece continues to influence contemporary artists worldwide. So as it remains one of the most brilliant examples of synthetic cubism ever created in art history. So ngayon, di ba, napapag-aralan na natin siya. In the next generation, maaalala and mapapag-aralan din nila itong gawa ni George Brock. So, that is the report of Group 1. So, the 9 artists and 9 artwork we've mentioned are Guernica, 1937 by Pablo Picasso, reported by James Alzozena. Christina's World, 1948 by Andrew Wyatt, reported by Ralph Tito. The Birth of Venus, 1484 by Sandro Botticelli, reported by Princess Ariel Harliego. The Creation of Adam, 1508 by Michelangelo, reported by Joey Palacio. The Spolarium, 1884 by Juan Luna, reported by Giancarlo Montesa. The Scream, 1893 by Edvard Munch, reported by Michelle Denis Chua. Mother and Child, 1921 by Pablo Picasso, reported by Joanna Mangao. Mona Lisa, 1503 by Leonardo da Vinci, reported by Dave Pixon. And the last one is The Fruit Dish and Glass, 1912 by George Brock, reported by no other than me, Angeline M. Dimpaso. And thank you for listening.
Mag-documentation tayo, guys. So, everyone, please open your cam para sa documentation. Thank you.
Wait lang ako.
Para makita din ni Sir yung mga members. Mangaw, ikaw na mag-picture. Bilang ka.
Game na. 1, 2, 3.